Welcome back to the Life of a Gentleman podcast. Here is where the guys discuss, debate, and consider all aspects of living like a true gentleman. Rich and Anton will consider entrepreneurship, success, fashion and styling, family life, and everything in between. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our latest saunter into the life of a gentleman. Guys, take it away.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Life of a Gentleman podcast. And this week, and in this episode, we're going to discuss, are men judged by their attire, by what they wear, by what they look like when they leave the house, and what they put on? I kind of have an idea of how I feel about it, whether being right or wrong. But Rich, let me throw it to you first since I opened up. How do you feel about the subject?
Well, I'm somebody who is into self-improvement, self-awareness. I listen to a lot of different speakers and thought leaders on this, and they all say that, like it or not, maybe it's not the way it should be, but
right.
Studies show that people judge and make a determination about you by the way you're dressed within the first 5 seconds of meeting you, and there's no way getting around that. So to answer this question, I guess men are judged by how they dress. Whether it's right or wrong, it's not up to me, but it's just what we do. And I think if you're honest with yourself, when you're walking down the street and you just scan and eye people, you make a determination based off how they're dressed. You just do. That's human nature.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It's, you see a person who looks like a slob, you're going to think that he's a slob, but he could be a millionaire, right?
Exactly.
He could be a millionaire.
Yeah.
And the dude that comes in with a two-piece tailored to the gill Armani suit, fresh shaved, smelling good, he could be flat broke. But who are we going to give the latitude to, right?
Yeah.
Human nature is going to give the latitude to the dude that walked in with a two-piece Armani suit, or even better, two-piece Harrison Blake.
I was gonna say Armani.
Yeah, yeah. Who are those guys? Smelling good,
yeah.
Walking in the door. But you're gonna give that dude more grace and more time than you're gonna give the dude that walked in with the white tee with the coffee stain, on it, and the jeans that are ill fit.
Yeah. No,
right?
It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. And I think because it's that way, I think it's important that we realize that and then present yourself into the best light. But also, here's another thing, a quote that I love from Les Brown. He says, once you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. So a lot of times you do see guys that dress really well. Maybe they smell good. They're very aware of their grooming. But I've met a lot of people like that. And when they do open their mouth, it doesn't match their look.
Right.
So for me, I'm very big on making sure that everything matches. So if I'm dressed down, I still want to present myself well in how I talk and how I make my introductions or just whatever. Because it's not like every day I'm walking around in a two-piece suit.
Right.
And then at the same time, for a lot of times as younger guys coming up, they just get into realize the power of dressing, and they feel like, man, if I just throw on this suit and I throw on some nice swagged out gear and I'm smelling good and I've got on rings and bracelets and a watch, a nice watch, and this and that and the third, I can go out here and get some respect.
Right.
Problem is, once they open their mouth, the respect goes out the window. So I think the goal is to really be a total package, but if you want to present yourself in the best light, I think that's the best way to do it.
So in my summation, you can dress the part, but you can't substantiate how you look until you open your mouth, basically, right?
Yeah, I think that's true.
Right? So I think your dress can get you in the door, but what you say and your substance keeps you in the room. But if you dress badly, you may not ever have the opportunity to get in the room.
Exactly. I think
that make any sense?
No, that did. That made perfect sense. It was a great explanation. You nailed it. And I think that's important for people to realize. One of the things in the book, The Life of a Gentleman, that I put out, probably about 8 years ago, it was a guide for young men. And one of the things that was very important in that book is you don't have to have expensive clothing. You don't have to have the best clothing in the world. But as long as it's neat, clean, and presentable, and then you have the manners and the speech and the diction to go along with it, that's going to open more doors than somebody coming in $1,000 custom suit that's moving awkwardly around the room, poor eye contact, a limp handshake. Walking around with hors d'oeuvres, he's grabbing stuff in his face. Just not moving correctly. That's the difference there.
Yeah, it's weird. I always and I guess being from the Northeast, right? I go other places and they're like, I hear your accent and all kinds of stuff or whatever. Yep. But, nobody thinks of an accent negatively until we get south, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that that's right or anything. I'm just saying that that's just, that old darn and, whatever. And I think sometimes it's that, like, that's like a double whammy to some people. If you can't dress and you country, and my mom was from Alabama, my father's people from Virginia, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not, I love the South. I love my people, wherever you're from. Right. But over the years in movies and film and, it's always the country joker with the all shucks and this and this and that. But I do believe that even if you have that southern drawl, right? If you can command the room, if you walk in, and it, I guess until you get north, like if everybody has that drawl, then it's equal, right? It's an equal playing field. But when you go north, or maybe you go west or someplace else, maybe to another country where it really is brought to the fore, exemplified even more, that accent, it's like it's harder for that person to make that headway if they don't look the part. You understand what I'm saying, Rich?
100%. It makes total sense.
It's almost like an extra handicap. Okay, so as if for those who can see us and those who are listening, if you don't know, the both of us are black, right? So now you're black, you don't dress well, and you have a southern drawl. It's going to be harder for you to break down the walls that you need to break down, because whoever this person is, whether they be white or black or whatever else, they got to give you a little more leeway because of the way you look.
Yeah. So
right.
No, one of the things that I always say is, I tell people, and we do consulting as well as custom clothing. So one of the things I like to tell clientele is, the dressing is just the beginning of it. Right. Like you said, to get your foot in the door. But then from there, you've got to work on being able to navigate in every kind of situation that presents itself. Because what happens is, do a simple experiment. Simply go out to a nice steakhouse, and the first weekend, go dressed in a football jersey or a t-shirt with a comical logo on it, or a comical saying, a phrase. I forget what you call those shirts, 'cause I don't wear them. But you guys know what I'm saying. Shirts.
A graphic tee. Yeah, like a graphic tee.
I'm with stupid with the arrow. You go in a baseball hat and you go sit down at a nice steakhouse. See the service that you get, dressed like that, and then go back the next week, totally dressed in a nice suit, proper attire, leather-soled shoes. and walk in, see the service that you get. You're going to get two different experiences. And people always come back and say, man, you were right. When I dress up, when I'm in a suit, people treat me different. The reason is because they have to pause and think, I don't know who this guy is.
Right.
He could be anybody. He's in a suit.
He could be the secret shopper.
They automatically think he could be a lawyer.
Yep.
He could be a business person. He could be some kind of investment banker. They don't know, simply because you're in the suit. But when you're in the graphic tee, you're just some joker that just came in. Sure, you're both.
And you could be that same, and you can be all of those things.
Yep.
But they're not going to assume it at all. It's human nature, people. And I think that's what people understand. Like, well, I shouldn't have to be judged for what I wear. No, you shouldn't.
No, you should not.
But that's what humans do, people. That's what people do.
Yep. And that's the bottom line. It's not fair. It's not right. But that's the rules. And we didn't make them. But I know I try to follow them. I know that when I want to make certain connections or have the opportunity, even as obviously as custom clothers, we have to watch how we look, because every time we go out, it's an opportunity to potentially find new clientele. So it's advantageous for us to dress the best we can. With other people who are just working secularly, hey, maybe it doesn't matter as much. But still, if you want to have a better experience when you go out, it's in your best interest to dress well, the best that you can. Even a polo shirt over a t-shirt will be better, even if you go into like a casual restaurant, and your service will be better.
And people, do whatever you want to do. But what we're telling you is, it's easier to navigate spaces. It's easier, even though it's a bad term, to curry favor, right? When you're dressed well, right? Whether you deserve it or not, it's one less thing that anybody can kind of hold over your head. When you're dressed well, like you said, it's some of it is just anonymity, and some of it is, I mean, they might like the way you look, right? They might, listen, we always say this. We're not saying this is what it's supposed to be, but this is what it is, right? You should be able, if you want to go out in some Crocs and some basketball shorts and a tank top.
Go for it.
You should be able to get the same respect, but you're not.
Nope.
You're not. And if you think that you have the ability to rewrite what everybody thinks and how everybody perceives you, I'm telling you right now, you're wrong.
100%.
You're wrong. You're not going to.
Nope.
Like, you might be able to get a couple of kids, like, oh wow, that's cool. He's got basketball shorts at the steakhouse. No, but when me and Rich come in there with our Harrison Blake suits, and we sit down, and the head waiter and the maître d's are buying us, free appetizers and trying to figure out who we are, guess who just won?
Yeah. And that really happens.
It does.
Yeah, that really happens. The level of service that you get, it's a whole different experience. And like it or not, that's just the way things are set up. There's really no way around it. The funny thing is too, one of my pet peeves, you mentioned the Crocs, but is another thing that's pretty prevalent these days. You go to the grocery store, you see a lot of people walking around in pajamas.
House pants.
and maybe a hoodie,
right?
But definitely the pajama pants, the house pants, and the slides with the dirty white socks. And my thing is this. Now, I don't know what you do for a living. I don't know, how much money you have in the bank or anything like that. But when I see you walking around like that, to me, I think to myself, this is somebody who's almost given up on life.
Really?
I do. And the reason I say that is because if you want respect, everybody wants respect. As people say, I want respect. You got to respect me. But if you come out the house and pretty much what you rolled out of bed, and then I know you're out in the public and you're in today's environment with coronavirus and everything else, and then you're going to go back home and crawl right back into bed with that same house clothes on. You can't even take the time to get to get yourself dressed and look appropriate for the general public,
Right.
people are not going to respect you and give you the level of respect maybe that all of us deserve. I mean, we all deserve respect. But when
Almost all of us, Rich, but I get what you're saying.
but when you come out like that,
Yeah.
it's hard for other people to take you serious.
Okay.
And the thing is, everybody these days it pretty much demands that they want respect. But when you come out like that, it's hard for people to give you respect. It just is.
No, I get it. And like you want to be able to go to the store or do what you want to do and be comfortable, right?
This suit is comfortable though. Honestly, I'm being serious because here's the
Right.
thing. You know as well as I do with custom clothing, it's super comfortable.
Yeah.
We do trunk shows. We're in a suit from 6, 7 a.m. when we wake up to get set up for the show, all the way moving around, measuring people on our knees, up, down, moving around.
10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night
10
after
o'clock.
dinner.
I never have a problem being in the suit and tie. It's
No.
very comfortable. And so people always try to say, well, I want to be comfortable. Well, try custom clothing. I guarantee you will be super comfortable because it's tailor-made to your body. So that comfortable excuse, that goes out the window in my book. I don't let that work.
So maybe it's an effort level, right?
It's effort.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's effort level. And I think what some people, because like, you look at old commercials and you look at old films and you remember there was a time when you flew on the airplane, right? Everybody got dressed up, right? Everybody was, because it was
Look
something
at your old
special.
family albums.
Right.
Your grandfather.
Right. Everybody was in a
Everybody
suit.
was dressed.
So I think that some of that has worn off. We've become a more casual society. And I think some of what distinguished you as a person who cared about how they look and their perception in their community has diminished. Because frankly, standards are different now, right? Standards and everything's just a little bit lower now. So that's why I'm not trying to pick on them, but certain people go out in bonnets. Some dudes go out in just, slides and house pants. And I'm not saying that, there's not a place, for, I don't know.
I'll say it.
I might be going too far by saying you shouldn't go out in your pajamas, right? You should.
I don't think you should.
No, I mean, it's something
It's
we're going to
not-
get some pushback.
For
We're going to get some
for
pushback.
health reasons. I don't want to be out in the general public with all these germs and then go roll back into my sheets.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not doing that.
I'm not saying you have to be in a suit either to go to the store, but I also believe that you should never, I think we come from probably the last era at this point where you don't leave the house looking like anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mother never left the house without putting her makeup on, or, and she didn't do it for you. She did it for her, but she wanted to present herself in a way that was respectable.
Yep.
And
I love that. I wish we would go back to that, and I think
Yeah.
that's really what this discussion is about. But guys, we'd love to know from you in the comments. Are we crazy? Are we too old-fashioned? A lot of times, maybe we're too stiff. Maybe we're too stuffy, and we need to relax a little bit. I mean, like you said, I'm not always in a suit. I don't think Anton's always walking around in a suit. But at the same time, there's a certain level of how you carry yourself if you want to gain respect from the general public. And you also never know who you're going to meet. There's been times you could very well miss out on a great opportunity, business-wise or connecting with somebody because you didn't look the part. And it would be a real shame to miss out on that. Somebody saw you in those dusty slides and the socks.
with the big toe poking out the front.
We've all seen it. We've all seen it. And it's like, there goes that opportunity.
Yeah.
Because then you're ducking and hiding because maybe you see somebody that that could maybe give you a leg up on the job, or maybe it's a mortgage person. I mean, it could be anybody, but perception is reality. And as we said at the outset, people are going to base the level of respect they're going to give you by what they see in the first 5 seconds. So let's make sure, my opinion, let's give them something good to look at.
No, and I agree. Let's give yourself a chance.
Give yourself a fighting chance.
Yeah, give yourself a chance. But I think, Rich, that's it for this one. We appreciate everybody tuning in with us, following us on our journey. Let us know how you feel about some of our newer content. We're kind of, moving a little bit away from fashion in some episodes, but let us know what you think. And we really appreciate you tuning in to the Life of the Gentleman podcast. Rich, you want to take us home?
All I'm going to say is take care.